pat yourself on the back because you are right here, right now, for a reason. Welcome to the On Purpose podcast, where together we will empower ourselves and others to live lives with more passion and purpose. How you doing this morning, Jared?
Fantastic, Ollie. How are you, my friend?
I'm good, man. I am good. Ready to crush the week.
Man, I love it. I am super excited for our sound upgrades.
Yeah.
Hopefully the listeners will pick up some clarity and things, some fancy headsets, a new soundboard with all kinds of buttons so I can do stuff like this.
Yeah. Yeah, these headsets are sweet. I'm loving them.
Well, it's just a next evolution, man. As we continue to grow and get bigger, we got to make sure our quality stays there and that we're continually challenging ourselves. So we will learn some new technology.
Yes, sir. That is right. That is right.
How was your weekend? I know for those of you that are just catching up, Ali's opponent decided not to show up for his long-awaited fight Saturday night.
Yeah, so obviously that was a bummer. I had my few hours of being pissed off and frustrated and feeling down, but I'm taking it all in, reflecting. Still had an amazing night. Had a really great time watching my teammates Rashid and Josh put on an awesome performance. Both came out with some great victories, and had a great time. I think what's really bothering me the most about the situation is the fact that, oh man, I was really anticipating being able to transition back into putting most of my time and energy into work and career, because it's time consuming. It takes a lot of time and energy to train and be prepared for the fight. So I think that's kind of like, oh man, I have a lot of stuff going on right now with my business that, thinking about just staying sharp and waiting around for another opponent, whether it's 4, 6, 8, 10 weeks, whatever it is. Just a lot of uncertainty, so definitely going to have to reflect a little bit more on that, because it's definitely still something I want to do. I don't want to just be like, oh, I'm not going to fight now, but it's a lot. So
yeah, it's definitely tough, especially to have a dream like that. You need another person, right? You can't fight by yourself.
Yeah.
And they have a 50-50 say in whether it takes place or not. And unfortunately, this guy, I guarantee, didn't put in the work you did, wasn't surrounded by the people you were surrounded by, and not showing up was an option for him, and he chose the coward's way out.
Yeah.
So
it's funny. I didn't even at any point in my preparation think about that or see that as a potential outcome. It just didn't even cross my mind.
Because you can't prepare for that.
Yeah.
Nor do you want to, right?
Right.
Because think about if you're going into practice, going into whatever you're working on for the day, and you're thinking, well, this kid may not show up, it gives you an out to not work as hard as you need to work.
Right.
Because if he does show up, then you're going to be like, damn, I should have worked harder.
Yeah.
And we don't ever want to prepare and for fights or life in general thinking that something may not show up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we got to prepare that we're going to get the best of whatever's coming our way. And if you're ready for that, then obviously you can deal with the lessers.
Mm-hmm.
But I guarantee if we could meet with this young man and look, he didn't surround himself with the right people, and not showing up seemed like a okay idea, where in our circle, not showing up is never going to be the right answer.
Right.
If we're going to take an ass whooping, we're going to show up for it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the way it works.
Yeah. Yeah, so some things to think about there, and we'll definitely keep the community posted about my next moves for the fight. In other news, we had a fun episode last week. We judge people. I really enjoyed talking about that one, and I had some reflections around that.
What are you thinking?
Well, for my purposeful practice, it really made me a little bit more conscious about initial judgments, what I thought of people. So I kind of held that around, and even after the reflections, I still stand by and feel really confident in what I said, that no matter who it is, like this kid, immediately when he dropped out, I had immediate judgments. I was very frustrated, and I shot down what his excuse was, like, oh, bullshit, family emergency, like whatever. But then I tried to revert back to, well, who knows? Who knows what it could have been? Maybe it really was. I hope his family's okay. And I tried to not have as negative judgments as my initial judgments. And overall, I felt better. Yeah, it's still a shitty situation. Yeah, I'm still not fighting. Yeah, it's frustrating. But I felt in a better overall mood when I wasn't like, man, fuck this kid. That's bullshit, and didn't let that anger and frustration consume me, because it was a few hours I was in this space of just pissed, frustrated, just like, fuck, man, I put in all that work. I was mad.
Yeah.
And then after a few hours of kind of working through those emotions, I was like, all right, this is useless.
Yeah.
I'm not gaining anything by staying in this space. And it started with kind of that judgment. It was a lot towards my opponent, of like, this dude let me down. He could have let me know weeks ago if he was going to back out, whatever.
Right.
I'd cut the weight, everything. It was the day before that I found out. So
yeah, it was the day of weigh-ins.
Yeah, the day of weigh-ins.
Yeah.
So it was Friday morning. I'd already cut all my weight. So I found that, sometimes our initial judgments don't serve us best. And I like to try and find, even if it's just the little tiny sprinkles of greatness within people. I like to try and find that. So that was kind of my week.
I think what you talked about is something we've talked about to our listeners before, is it's okay to process all those emotions associated with it. Instead of just dismiss it, saying, I'm fine, it doesn't really matter, and holding that in, which would then manifest itself in other ways. It would come up at the least opportune time. It hadn't been processed. You worked through it. And initially you were angry with him, rightfully so. He let you down. And then you process it, and then you always, like you do, you go back and reflect internally. Okay, I still learned a lot about myself here. I still got in great shape. Like you posted, you still have great abs.
Yeah, I was like, at least I have abs. Yeah.
So,
no, it's funny. I changed that post. My initial post, I went back and updated it, because I read it like 3 hours later, and I was like, all right, I obviously was mad here, and this isn't a good example to leave out in the world of how to react to situations.
That's
so
fine. I don't think I saw the original, because by the time I saw it, it was well written and what I would expect from you, a very, like, okay, this sucks, but here's what I'm learning from it type experience.
Yeah. Big shout out to Sparta Sports and Entertainment as well, for them going above and beyond to make things right. They more than doubled the commission that I received, which more than doubled the donation to Be Bold,
right,
and comped tickets for the next event that I'll be on for anyone that did buy a ticket. So thanks to Sparta for that. That was a really good display of their character and what that organization's about, and I was impressed.
Sure. And that's why we partner with them so much.
Yep.
Because you can count on them. So as one dream crumbles and has obstacles, it allows another one to rise.
Yeah. What about you? Do you have some special judging reflections?
I feel solid where I'm at with that. And it was funny because not too long ago, my oldest daughter went through a breakup with a boyfriend.
Okay.
And she was like, you didn't like him from the minute you met him. And I was like, nope, not at all. And it's interesting. I think with life experience comes like shortcuts to knowing where certain things go, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like when I meet somebody and, like an example, you meet somebody and they have like all these stories they've done. Like, I've done this, I've climbed this mountain, I've done this, I worked here, I worked there.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you're like, like it just in your experience, like that's a lot to cram in a short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
You could kind of start seeing through, okay, this is just somebody trying to impress you. Like you're not getting the true feel. And you can call it judging, which it is, but like I said in the episode, it's judging off experience. I know if somebody comes in and everything is the greatest, everything they've ever done is the greatest, that's probably not a person I'm going to spend a ton of time with.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can kind of shortcut, like, how much time am I going to give this person? Because if I felt like I had to come to you and the only way I could get your time was to exaggerate everything I've ever done to hope that that impresses you, well, what's beyond that? Like,
Yeah.
what is that? That's already showing you that that's how they deem their worthiness to be around you. It's not a place I want to spend a lot of time.
Yeah.
You know, and my daughter was like, gosh, like from the very first deal. And so I kind of broke down. I was like, well, here's what I remember from meeting him the first time. This story, these things, all red flags to me.
Mm-hmm.
All red flags that it's not a place that's going to thrive for me. So why continue to hang out there and pretend I didn't see these? You know what I mean? And that's kind of what we're talking about, judging with experience, based on your experience, or just judging because of what other people told you. Like, nobody told me he was a bad person.
Right.
Nobody told me a lot of stuff wasn't true. I experienced it. Like, I listened to him and go, wait a second, dude.
Yeah.
Like, this
I
isn't
don't know,
possible.
yeah.
And I think that's okay. And I honestly, I don't apologize for it. And I think it's a big part of why my circle is as strong as it is I have pretty good filters on how you get in there. And you know, maybe it's from being a police officer or just growing up on the East Coast where everybody's kind of in a hustle mode. But I feel fortunate that I kind of see through bullshit a lot quicker than some other people. But I also have experience, you know, whereas my daughter's still younger. So it's, you know, she doesn't know.
Mm-hmm.
But
X-ray vision on the bullshit.
Yeah. It's, now, but where we're at now, you see it coming.
Yeah.
You know, when I was 24, I'd have got tricked too. You know, I mean, it's how I bought a car that I should have never had, right? I got tricked into thinking it was possible.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. If you haven't checked out the We Judge People episode, that's a good one to check out.
It's getting good reviews. People seem to like it. Mm-hmm. And, man, we're on episode 46.
46.
Which means we are coming up on our 1-year anniversary.
Yeah, coming up real quick.
Oh, I'll do something special for that.
Yeah. Well, our guest series is about to be starting here very soon. I'm confident that we'll be able to get our first guests here next month. So
maybe we'll do that for the first one.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, first one of the new year.
And we can't do it without the community, so we thank you all for joining us and allowing us to share in what is your most valuable commodity you have, which is your time.
Yep.
You know,
yep. It was cool to see Rashid, one of our On Purpose workshop graduates, wear his On Purpose T-shirt out to the cage. That was something that he shared in the workshop. That was, a goal of his. His first MMA fight didn't go the way he wanted, so he trained really hard and made it happen to get the W the second time. So that was really cool to see him really living out his purpose, or part of his purpose.
Yeah, for sure. And it wasn't by accident.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he just didn't accidentally pick that shirt out to wear on a night when his mentality and his spirit and his skills would be tested.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's an honor that we get to be part of that in people's lives.
Yeah, that was awesome.
You know?
That was awesome. Gives me goosebumps. Love it.
It was fantastic.
Love it. All right, Jared, what do we got today?
So something I've been thinking about, and it's kind of come up a lot in conversations I've had with people, is the subject of dreams.
Okay.
And is it wrong to dream? You know what I mean? Are we now in a society where you get made to feel bad for dreaming because there's such a move of gratitude and contentment, which, right?
Mm-hmm.
Certain circles will make you kind of, or could make you feel bad for having dreams, for wanting more.
Yeah.
So I wanted to dive into that a little bit because we both dream,
mm-hmm.
but we're both practice gratitude. So how do we work that fine line?
So I think before we dive deep into this, it's important to define what dream means in this context.
Sure.
So how would you define dream in this context?
To me, a dream is something that it wakes you every day. You know what I mean? Like it literally comes up in your subconscious thoughts while you're sleeping, your dreams. And you know it's something you have in you or something you have to give. And it's a repetitive theme in your life.
Okay.
Right? It's not a fleeting one time and this one moment at this one place. It's something that constantly comes up, and that I think for most people we know It's in the back of our head. It's in
Mm-hmm.
the back of our mind, but we may not be acting on it.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a good definition. I think that for some people, it really depends on what your definition is, and I think it depends on your mentality. For some people, a dream is simply a dream, something that people don't truly believe they'll actually achieve one day, something that
True.
seems far out in the distance, and they just dream about it. To other people who are achievers, a dream is something they know they are gonna make happen. They're gonna make a reality one day. That it's constantly on their mind, that they're thinking of how to actually achieve and manifest that dream. Um, so I think depending on how you think of the dream makes it gives the true meaning. So in my opinion, I think having a dream without actually having true belief and faith and desire that you're going to achieve it and manifest it is is disrespectful to yourself.
Oh, I like it.
Is disrespectful to yourself to be wasting that time, those thoughts, that energy, especially if you're talking about it as if you're going to achieve it when deep down you don't believe it. That's first and foremost disrespectful to yourself. Forget about telling other people. Nobody, at the end of the day, everyone's self interested. If you're telling other people, okay, that no one's really going to buy into your dream until they actually see stuff happening. But I think that if you actually don't believe, then it's all just a dream, and that's all it'll ever be.
I love that. There's a line from a Biggie Small song. It was all just a dream. We'll have to play
Yeah,
that play. I love that.
it was
So, but,
just a dream.
yeah, yeah, you know
Yeah.
what I'm talking about?
Uh-huh.
So, but here's what I find interesting. Everybody, when they go to sleep, doesn't just their dreams aren't their day-to-day life. It's this other thing that they could have been or they could become
Mhm.
that a lot of us will go to. But yet, for some reason, when a lot of people open their eyes and wake up for the day, that's as far as it ever goes. They're only allowed to be in that place where they see themselves doing this when they're sleeping.
Mhm.
And that to me is sad, right? Like, because if you're seeing it repetitively when you sleep, that to me it's possible. It means something out there saying this is possible for you.
Yeah.
But when we wake up, for some reason, it never becomes true. And like this past week, we lost Kobe and his daughter, and that the baseball coach and the other families, which is a huge tragedy, and the helicopter crash.
Mhm. Really sad.
But as you celebrate Kobe, it's interesting to me. Like, what are you? You're literally everybody's celebrating his dreams coming true,
Right.
and his work ethic. And all you hear about is like he had visions, and he worked, and he worked, and he worked, and he had a vision. He worked, he worked, he worked. So part of me wants to make sure that in this episode we talk about if you're going to celebrate other people's dreams, which is what we're doing, right? We're celebrating his life, which was a bunch of his dreams coming true.
Yeah.
Why don't we honor it by making our dreams come true?
I love that because that's so true. Don't get me wrong. Kobe Bryant was an amazing human being. I'm sure he has lots of charities and gave back in a huge way.
Sure.
But when we think about Kobe Bryant, we don't think about somebody like, Martin Luther King or Abraham Lincoln or Mother Teresa or Gandhi or some of these people that directly gave back so much to society, that healed sick people, that did all these things, that had a political movement or anything like this. We literally, like you said, are just celebrating Kobe because he achieved his dreams, because he worked his ass off, when everybody has the capability of
Can
doing that.
can everybody be an NBA star? No.
No.
No. But can we all fulfill some portion of our dreams? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the difference? To me, it boils down to this. Somebody like Kobe had a dream. When they slept, they saw this world that was possible. When they woke up, they chased it. Too many people have this dream. They see what's possible, and they wake up, they go to the same routine they've been doing. They don't allow themselves to pursue it. And to me, that is, like, let's take Kobe. What if Kobe, because Kobe was, grew up a middle class, upper middle class. His dad was a professional athlete. What if Kobe didn't have the work ethic he had? You'd have been left with just the dreams. But when you match the dreams and the work ethic, then you get to be special. And I believe all of us have something we can do special to contribute to the world.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, many of us don't want to work towards it. Right? We have the dreams, we have the vision, we just don't have the follow through. And I think that's truly what separates a lot of people from the masses, is the follow through piece and the working towards the dreams and the being okay with all the bad stuff that comes with having dreams or the potential negatives.
Yeah, it's interesting because I feel it's not every day that people are just sharing their dreams, right? It seems to be something that that people kind of keep to
For
themselves,
sure.
But I think I think that the people who do share it and make it more public and announce it and speak it into existence and act, and most importantly take action, are the ones that actually achieve it. I think that a big reason some people's dreams never come true is because they don't share. They don't have extra layers of accountability.
Yep.
Now, if I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm way more inclined to do it than if I had never told you.
Right.
Telling people in your inner circle, telling people that are going to hold you accountable. Comes back to circle of five. If you have a bunch of buddies that always just talk shit and, oh, I'm going to do this and don't do it, and, just laugh and joke about it. Like, oh, remember when you said you were going to do this and never did it? No big deal. Like, that's just the culture. Then, yeah, you're never going to get there. But when you're surrounded by dreamers who are doers that achieve dreams, you're going to get it done. So I think it is important to share dreams, to talk about them, and to take action. And it's okay, I think, to change dreams too. Like, for example, I'm in an interesting position because this MMA fight, it's been a dream of mine.
Right.
I would see it in my dreams. I would wake up and be like, oh man, I dreamt that I got a knockout in the second round or whatever. That I had these vivid dreams about the fight, and I was putting in the work. I was sacrificing everything, sacrificing a lot of other things to make sure that I was prepared. And now there is a part of me that feels, obviously I didn't get to step in the cage and fight, but feels that I achieved a lot of that dream. I mean, I was right there. I was ready to get in the cage, to where, and frankly, I don't think I'm going to change it. I know I'm still going to follow through and do an MMA fight, but there is a part of me that feels like if I decided not to, I don't think I would be missing out on too much. I do know that I think I would always regret it if I told myself, like, right now, like, you know what, I'm just not going to do it. I'm too busy. But the point I'm trying to make is that sometimes the world has ways of changing direction, to where if you've had this dream, like an NBA star, if you're 5'5", the odds are stacked against you. Yeah, there's exceptions, Spud Webb, whatever, 1 in a billion. But the point I'm trying to make is that sometimes the universe will shape things out for us that makes us change our dreams.
Well, and I don't even think it's necessarily changing your dreams. I think it is showing you what's possible and bringing you new dreams.
Yeah.
Like for me, I dreamt my whole life of being a professional baseball player. That's all I thought I was going to do. I had no backup plans. Well, I get to college and I realize I'm not good enough. Like, nobody cares, right? Because it was my dream. Nobody's like, hey, dude, I know this is your dream. You could, right? It just was a hard reality. I was not good enough to continue on, period. But that wasn't my last dream, right? So I allowed myself to have new dreams, right? Eventually, this podcast became a dream. We're doing it. Writing a book was a dream. We're doing it. Like, I literally allowed myself permission to have new dreams, which I think is something a lot of people struggle with. Think of how many buddies you have or people you know that still talk about what they did in high school.
Yeah.
And for you, I mean, it's more recent for you than it is for me.
Right. But it's still.
But what is that from? They never moved past what that dream was then.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you doing for the next 20 years, 30 years, 40 years of your life? This dream is probably not possible anymore. You're not 16-year-old athletic Jared.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that 30-something Jared shouldn't have dreams, 40-something Jared shouldn't have dreams. But for some reason, we don't allow ourselves to move past that initial one. And I think that's a great disservice we do ourselves, is live in the past of who we could have been instead of accepting who we are now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now the who I am now, I have a lot of other things that I can contribute if I'm open to finding new dreams. And I don't know why so many people feel stuck in who they used to be. And with that, even the dreams of what they used to have is still what they want. But you're missing out. Just like you said, the universe is going to give you new stuff. Relationships are going to give you new things. Technology is going to bring a new ability to dream. But the question comes down to, are you open to becoming something new? Or are you just stuck on what you always wanted to be and not allowing yourself to grow past it?
Yeah. I think a big piece of that, too, is that we have way more influence and way more incentive to do more in our youth, to do more in our high school days, in our there's community. It's cool, it's popular to be on the football team or on a sports team, or to have a community, whether it's band or acting. People do more stuff. And for me, and after graduating, I wanted to do because I don't know. I don't know, to this day, I don't know what my ultimate life dream is going to be, right? What my legacy is going to be. I know bits and pieces, but like you said, things change, new relationships, new technology, new everything, to where I'm trying stuff. We're trying this podcast. We didn't know where it was going to go. I'm trying this business. I had a dream to be a business owner. Now I'm a business owner. Now I'm thinking of pivoting, doing different things, to where it's important to do and not get paralyzed by fear, not get paralyzed by waiting around for the perfect time. It's important to experience and have experiences. And sometimes we're going to go down this rabbit hole and the opportunity is going to be lost, just like this fight. Or maybe you're going to realize, you know what? At one point this was my dream, but I don't want this anymore because of what I did. But I think it's important for us to execute on what we do believe is are our dreams, what we want for ourselves. And it's okay if at some point down the road it's not. I think it's even worse if we have this dream and we're working towards it, and at some point we realize, you know what, this isn't truly what I want, but because it has been my dream, because I've worked this hard, I'm just going to keep doing it. And I think that's where a lot of us get stuck, is just being comfortable with an original dream.
Well, I think that it's funny you say comfort, because I literally wrote down that comfort kills dreams. Right? For a lot of people, at least my age, I know people have dreams of things they've wanted to accomplish or do in life. But with chasing dreams is fear, right? Fear of failure, fear of being judged by others that don't know, fear of their input, what will everybody else think, oh my gosh, it's going to be a lot of hard work, there's going to be more sacrifice. And as we get comfortable in life, it's easy to put the dreams off as to what used to be or what could have been, but this is just my reality.
Mm-hmm.
And at least for me, doing what I'm doing now, I had to get uncomfortable. We took a lot of risk. We took a lot of walking away from guaranteed things because we believed there was more for us somewhere else. And I think that comfort is a huge obstacle that people have to overcome. Is, okay, I want to get uncomfortable again at this stage in my life.
Yeah. So what do you think about the people that argue that they're content, whether or not they're young or old? I I know that you're also a huge advocate of gratitude, as am
Yeah,
I. And even though I want more in my life in every aspect, I want more. I'm grateful for what I have. I really am. Am I content? I wouldn't say content, but I'm grateful. But I know for me, no matter what I achieve, if I create the next social media platform, the next TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, if I'm a billionaire,
yeah,
I know that I'm going to want to be achieving. I'm going to have some other metric. Now
yeah,
it's going to be how let's feed people. You know, if I have $1 billion, let me try and feed a billion starving people, whatever it is. I'm going to continue. I'm going to want to achieve no matter what level I get, because I know that I am a divine human being, that I'm capable of achieving dreams, manifesting things. So it's like, why be content when in this lifetime we can achieve anything that we focus on? So what do you say to the people that are like, I have everything I have. I have a wife, kids, I have a roof over my head, and I don't
yeah.
I don't need anything else. I'm happy with my life. What do you think
And I'm
about that?
happy for them.
Mm-hmm.
If they're genuinely happy and they're like, dude, this is all I've ever wanted. Like, since I was a little kid, I dreamt of having a wife and 2.5 kids and the picket fence and a house in, suburban life. And I love going to Old Town for dinner and we have a retire. Then I'm happy for you.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I'm proud of you and I'm happy. But if you have all that, and every time we're around, all I hear about is these dreams you have, and I'm not seeing action, then you're settling.
Mm-hmm.
I think content and settling are two different things, right? Content means like there's part of my life that's content, right? Andrea and I have been married for over 20 years. Very content in my marriage. I don't need to look anywhere else. There's nobody else on earth that can bring me what she brings me. So I'm content.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean I'm not going to strive to have more in our relationship. I'm not going to strive to continue to be a better husband as we grow,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm content with the children I have. They bring me happiness. I'm teaching them lessons. They're seeing all that's possible. I'm still going to try to strive to be a better father. So I think there's difference between being content and settling, right? Settling means this is what I got. Whatever the universe gives me, that's all I'm asking for. Well, I'm saying no, man. Like, be content in some of your relationships, but you can always strive to be better at them. But if somebody comes to me and is like, Jared, I don't want your life. Like, I just want to be, let's say that I want to be a policeman for 30 years. I want to go all the way up till my official retirement date, and then I never want to work again. And I'm going to have this, but then do it, man.
Right.
But be happy doing it. But if every day from year 20 to year 30, all I hear you complain about is having to do this and counting down the days so you don't have to do it, then I'll argue you're wasting a lot of time.
What about people that are trying to live out dreams that aren't theirs? Like a parent imposed dream.
That's interesting, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, because I think that if you have a dream that stresses you out, that you don't get
Dude, that's not a
excited
dream.
about, that's not a real dream.
That's a nightmare,
Mm-hmm.
right? I think about, like, your dreams. You should wake up happy and be like, oh, man, you wouldn't believe what I dreamt was possible. If you're waking up stressed and you don't have a dream, that's a nightmare. And I think you're probably right. It's probably somebody else's expectations of you that you're accepting.
Yeah.
Now, here's what I will tell you is probably the hardest thing as a parent, and I even find myself struggling with this. When your kids come to you with their dreams,
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to not want to kind of protect them and tell them some of the obstacles they may face. And you're not doing it to kill the dream. It's like a protective instinct. And I found that even I have to struggle with that as a parent when they come like, hey, there's a dream. I have to like consciously be like, perfect, let's do it. Let's see how hard are you willing to work and make it happen. But
Interesting.
especially like, for Andrea, she's very logistical. Like, she likes lists. She likes to anticipate all the potential problems and have potential solutions.
Mm-hmm.
And that's easy for people to take as you don't believe in my dream.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy for people to take as a limiting, hey, well, I had this dream, but dad told me there's like 4 things that could go wrong, so I'm not even going to do it.
Right.
And I think sometimes that's kind of where, are we around people that are encouraging dreams, which will then facilitate action, or are we around people that want to limit dreams all the time?
Mm-hmm. So is your response with your kids the same when anyone tells you their dream? Do you
No, I think it's
immediately?
way different.
Okay. So what is it when
Well, I think it's
a
just,
friend tells you a dream of theirs?
I'm always like, oh, dude, that sounds freaking great. How you gonna get there? Like, I
Right.
just want to, but I do ask how you gonna get there,
Right.
because I don't have, I don't want to. We were talking about taking control of our time. I don't want to just sit and listen to everybody's pipe dreams that they have when they're drunk, or they have, once a year. Like, if we're gonna take time, you're gonna tell me this is your dream, then I also want to know, okay, what steps have you thought about to get there?
Mm-hmm.
Because now I know it's serious and I can support you. But it's weird when it's your kids. Like, you want to protect them from some of the failures. You want to protect them from some of the heartbreak that can come with having dreams
Mm-hmm.
unintentionally, right? And it's funny. I think it's just that emotional connection you have to your kids and their success. That quite, if you have a dream and it doesn't come up short, I know you're going to learn something from it, bounce back, and be fine. But I think there's just a natural instinct to kind of protect your cubs from some of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is interesting. So what do you have to say to people who are kind of, that you don't know if they have dreams? Do you encourage others to dream? Do you encourage people to do more?
Yeah, I think everything we do encourages that, right? Like, let's be honest, why are people part of this podcast? Because they want more. Why do people come to the gym? They want more. Why did people buy the books? They wanted more. So I think, here's what I love about living dreams. You give permission to others to do the same, right? Everybody, seems to me in our world today, a lot of people are looking for permission to really be themselves. And when you live your dream and share it, you give people permission to live their dreams. And that's why you look at our communities, it's people are on the move.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's nobody in our community that's like, hey, dude, I'm just chilling where I was. Circle back around and get me. Like, everybody's on the move. And why is that? Because we are living for them. Hey, we're chasing our dreams. Doesn't mean we don't have fears and struggles and failures, and we put in so many hours to train for a fight and then a kid doesn't show up. Like, we got bad stuff happening. Things that are hard to deal with. But they're in the realm of us pursuing something greater. And I think it truly comes down to when you live your dream and you model that for other people and they see it, it allows others to chase theirs. And think about who's going to show up at a meeting with either of us, quite honestly, and just complain about everything in their life and then not have plans to change it. Not many, because we're going to do what? We're going to be like, dude, make changes.
Right. Or I don't want to be around this.
Yeah, or we're never going to hang out with that.
Yeah.
Right, so I think when you live your dreams, you give permission to others to live theirs. And
Yep, like Kobe.
I think so.
Like Kobe.
How many, and think about it, how many NBA players, if you're into sports, you'll catch this, but for the last 2 days, every NBA game has started with a tribute to Kobe. And what's the underlying story is everybody in the NBA now, because of their age, for the most part, the majority, grew up idolizing Kobe. What was Kobe doing? Living his dream. And now a lot of them are in the NBA because why? They saw Kobe living out his dream, and it gave them hope that they could live theirs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, that's what dreaming does. It's contagious. But It's not easy.
No.
And it doesn't come without risk, and it doesn't come out without naysayers and failures. People forget Kobe is such a great example. His first 2 years in the league, he was on the bench. He didn't start.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was a role player for the Lakers because they had a really good team. How many people remember Kobe not being a starter? Nobody.
Mm-hmm.
The series against the Utah Jazz, I think it was his first or second year, he shot 2 or 3 air balls in a row at the end of the game. The Lakers lost. Close game. But he took every shot. Shaq was pissed at him. All the older dudes on the team were mad at him. How many people remember Kobe shooting air balls to lose a game? Nobody. Because he continued to work and dream and evolved. Now when you think of Kobe, you think of a fantastic scorer, a fantastic leader, the Mamba mentality. Well, that was just a dream and hard work coming together. And for some reason, a lot of people won't take action on their dreams because they're afraid they're going to be judged on the failures associated with them. Well, Kobe failed lots. But he took the experience of failing and continued to work hard towards it. And now all we remember is the actual dream coming true. And I think for many people, if they could get over the fear of what everybody will think if they fail at a dream, they would probably work towards it more.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the crazy thing, Ali. Let's, off the top of my head, Colonel Sanders.
Okay.
Major part of his story is what? Failure. Failed at business, failed at marriage, failed at this, failed at... Didn't start KFC until he was in his 70s.
Wild.
Walt Disney. How many times did he fail pitching the whole Disney ideas?
Yeah, went bankrupt.
Numerous. There's so many... But for some reason, we look at all these other people and we celebrate their dreams coming true and we're like, oh, look what they overcame. Oprah. Look what she overcame. But then we stop and we don't see the ability in ourselves to do the same thing. Right? We look and it's like, oh, they overcame all this and that and their dreams are true. But for some reason for us, we're so afraid of having that first failure, that first roadblock. Oh, what will Ali think if the podcast is a failure? Well, because I'm so worried about what you think, I don't even try. But I'll celebrate all these other people overcoming things that I won't try myself. And that's a huge inhibitor to dreams coming true.
That's sad. And you know what? That's disrespectful, I think, not only to ourselves, but to our circle, to the people that watch us, because I think that we each have a responsibility to live out our dreams. Because look what it does for others. Look what Kobe did for others. He didn't do anything. I've never met Kobe. I've never
talked to him.
Never talked to him in my life. Never got the chance to. And he had an impact on me. Why? Because he lived out his dreams. And guess what? Everybody around me who lives out their dreams, they will have a positive impact on me as well. And I hope and believe that me living out my dreams will positively impact others. I already know I have from some of the dreams that I achieved. So I think I retract my statement. I update my statement to not only is it disrespectful to yourself, it's most disrespectful to yourself.
Absolutely.
But it's also disrespectful to others for you not to live out your dream. And it's okay to change your dreams. It's okay to have selfish dreams. But go get them. Go make your dreams a reality. We only get one shot at this life. And, I mean, like we saw with Kobe, it can end in an instant, unexpectedly.
Yeah. No, I agree, and it's important to just give yourself permission to want more. Give yourself permission to chase that dream that you've always had, or to grow into new dreams. Like for me, I realized I could not be a professional baseball. I wasn't good enough, period. So I could spend the next... And that happened when I was 19. So I could spend the next 70 years holding on to the dream of what I wanted. Or I could be like, okay, I got to this point. I learned a lot about myself. Now let's spend the next 7 years finding new dreams. So if you're one of those people out there listening that's still, when you dream, you see your high school self, and you haven't been in high school in quite a while, let's move past that. Give yourself permission to find a new dream. Find something new that creates a legacy for you. And I think that's why I do a lot of what I do, and I think probably you're similar, is I'm very aware that my time here is short.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm very aware that we're all going to die. I want to create things that allow a legacy to be built so that my kids' kids share stories of what we did, so that our time here is worth remembering, not, hey, you know, my dad just showed up, but like, he did the bare minimum his whole life. Like, that person's forgotten, unfortunately. Who's remembered? The people that chose to chase the dreams and that shared it and really got the most out of whatever years they have. And if you're listening to our podcast, if you're taking the time to be part of this community, you have something greater in you, guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
Or you wouldn't be here listening to us. So give yourself permission to get after it, right? And part of that is just like we talked about, who do you surround yourself with? Get your practice into us. Like, we are your circle. We'll continue to evolve this circle, but realize this is a circle of doers and dreamers and failers. We fail.
I have to.
And then we learn and we continue. And guess what? Nobody in here is going to feel bad for you failing. They'll be like, hey, dude, what'd you learn from it? Cool, let's move on. Because it is part of the process of living dreams.
Amen. You have our permission. Dream on.
And we're going to fail right alongside you.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Let's give us a purposeful practice, Ali.
Yeah, let's get after it. So first part of this week's purposeful practice is, if you have a clearly identified dream, are you working towards it or still dreaming? Be honest with yourself on this one. Reflect, take a moment to answer that piece. Part 2, if you have unfulfilled dreams, what are you doing about them? Really reflect, is it okay for them to be unfulfilled? Why are they unfulfilled? If they still need to be fulfilled, what are you going to do to fulfill them? Part 3, how do you support the dreamers around you? And then last, but most importantly, email your practice to onpurpose.official@gmail.com. Jared and I would love to learn more about your dreams, give you some feedback, and do what we can to help the dreamers around us. So get your practice in, and let's keep living on purpose.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks for being here again, Ali. It's always a highlight of the week to spend this time sharing thoughts and ideas with you.
Love it. Thank you.
Team, remember, life is far too short to live any other way than on purpose. We'll see everybody next week.